Hi, I'm Zach. Today we're going to hypothesize and dive very deep into our imagination. We're going to think about where humanity will be at in 1 million years into the future. Thank you, Marcos, for this video idea. If you have any video ideas and things you want to hear me hypothesize about, leave a comment down below. So, let's start out 1 year in the most optimistic situation that I can think possible. In 1 year, we could solve, hypothetically, all of the problems that we endure today, simply if we all work together. And through technology and scientific breakthroughs. So, let's say that happens. Let's say in 1 year, humanity, for whatever reason, all comes together. There's some mass movement of consciousness, and it's like a domino effect where many world leaders and celebrities and people of influence come together, and for whatever reason there's like a giant like Woodstock festival, not just one, just many, and it creates a snowball effect. And in 1 year, with the snowball effect of mankind actually working together, all of the problems that we could have been solving are starting to get solved. Like world hunger, homelessness, all the wars that are happening, they stop. All of the unnecessary suffering stops. And the transition from factory farms and monocrops and all of these systems that are in place that are destroying the planet and destroying our bodies and harming animals and exploiting them and putting them through a lot of unnecessary suffering, we're starting to go in the other direction. We're starting to build the foundation and forward a much better system. And it doesn't happen overnight, but in 1 year, there's a shift of state of mind, and it feels different going into public spaces. It feels different going to work. It feels different waking up in the morning, looking on your social media feed. There's no longer doom scrolling, and the news no longer feeds off of negativity. There's a complete shift in the state of mind of society around the world, let's say, and especially well-developed countries where they have the highest amount of influence and world leaders and celebrities. All of the pinpointed areas of influence have this massive shift of creating solutions and taking accountability rather than pointing and blaming and creating more problems. And so that's 1 year. Then let's say 5 years. 5 to 10 years. Year. 5 to 10 years. Year. And then, with the shift of consciousness and state of mind and people taking accountability and people of influence actually inspiring people by the masses to take accountability and change the way they are, everybody at this point has already completely transformed. It takes a couple months to change habits, to change the way you think, to change your cravings. And at this point, people are through the transformation stage of what we know today, where it's highly toxic, and a majority of what we see everywhere are people creating unnecessary suffering and not taking accountability. Now it's the opposite. Now everywhere we look, people are helping each other out, and it's a huge community. Humanity has now become one huge community rather than a bunch of different nations and small cornered off sections. And with this huge community, we've already put in massive structures and foundations for things that solve problems and do not create them. So veganic vertical farming, symbiotically farming with the nature that's already there. It's called terraforming, where rather than cutting down forests, rainforest, we actually find ways to farm and grow plants and foods and resources from within the nature that's already there. And then we also find ways to grow in our cities far more efficiently, underground, in the caves, everywhere, but without disturbing the nature that's already there. And then, of course, there's robots and nanotechnology and certain things that we create to where we no longer have a need to work a 9 to 5. Now, everything is done for us. There's no need to worry about survival. Everybody has a house. Everybody has more than enough food. And now we have all the spare time we want. And to do anything you want with your life. And now everybody is able to sit down and look within themselves and figure out how to create joy through meditation, yoga, spiritual community. But completely on their own. People are realizing and putting into practice that they no longer need any alcohol, weed, drugs, social hierarchy, anything. None of those things are fulfilling their lives, and a majority of society is now shifted to realize that those things are not what's going to make us feel fulfilled and happy. And so now everybody, in a healthy way, no longer needs to wake up early and go to a day job. So there's no need to escape from anything, and so people aren't coming home on the weekends or at the end of the day and drinking and smoking and trying to escape and doing certain things socially that would harm them, but doing it to feel better about themselves. They're not doing that. They're already naturally feeling good about themselves. People have already found that peace. And now with this foundation and with these general structures laid out where we can feed our society, we're even farming in space. We have these giant farms. Instead of trash, we've taken nanobots and certain robots and used AI to go out and replace this trash floating around the earth now with gardens and giant farms, and we've also started to farm the asteroids inside of our solar system. And so there's no need for anybody to fight over resources. We have more than enough resources. Everybody has more than enough resources, and for whatever reason, all the world leaders are done having their heads up their asses. Just kidding. Not all of them are like that. But what I'm saying is, everybody in the world who was on a power trip, for whatever reason, it's done. Nobody's trying to have power and in their ego. Now we have all the resources we want and people are working together. There's no more BS. It's all just, we're here working together. We have these structures in place. Nobody needs to wake up and go to a job that is not fulfilling, like McDonald's or certain places. But we also still have like just as good tasting food and burgers and McDonald's and stuff everywhere if you so desire to eat stuff like that. But we found technology and ways to make it taste just as good, but not have like cholesterol, saturated fat, and not have to kill animals to create it. In a sense, we found a way to like Star Trek, a microwave, but just create whatever food we want. Or maybe we're growing it on trees. Maybe we found a way to grow pizza on trees. So now it's a whole food, but it tastes just like Domino's pizza or something like that. And we're growing this in space also. And so yeah, that's 5 to 10 years. Very, very unlikely, but hey, we're diving into our imagination and being as optimistic as possible here. Okay, so That's 5 to 10 years. I mean, probably should have said like 50 to 100 because that's a lot. That's a lot. That's almost improbable to do. I suppose it's not impossible. Highly improbable. So we'll say we're at 100 to 1,000 years into the future. And at this point, AI and technology is highly advanced, but we've been very responsible with it, and we haven't used it in any way that would harm humanity. So we haven't put in the coding or the structure to where AI would destroy us, and we've been very responsible and safe in a sense that it's right now it's a tool. It's a tool, and it's helping us grow and go out into the solar system, and we've now terraformed multiple planets inside the solar system, and we've built almost like bridges and certain things around the solar system, and we've got more power than we could ever imagine because now we're drawing power directly from the sun. We're starting to build one of those things, what's it called? If you know what it is, leave a comment down below. Basically, it's like building a thing around the sun. It's almost looks like one of those angels inside of the Bible. Or it's not inside the Bible, but I forget what it's called. But it's a giant structure around the sun that takes power from the sun. And so we're beginning to build that. And we're also AI mostly. It's working day and night. But there is no night if you're always by the sun. And so they're constantly just building on that, and with that power they're constantly building more robots that are constantly just building more and more power, and mankind is just down here on Earth. We have no more unstable or unhealthy and toxic direction. Again, no one's trying to have world domination, and there's no more toxic like day jobs where you need to be there and you need to wake up and not get enough to eat, and then you're coming home and eating crappy food and certain things to numb yourself. Society has evolved completely from that, and no more animals or anything are used at all, or humans especially. And in fact, we've even found ways to analyze nature and nurture nature and evolution in a way to where we've reduced predators or gotten predators to evolve in a way to where now they're herbivores. And then maybe even evolve them even further to where some of them, where they can get nutrition from the sun, directly from the sun. So it's like, it's not really changing nature artificially. It's creating the mold for evolution to start to create, even in nature, a more symbiotic and peaceful nature where it's not predators constantly eating herbivores. We found a way to have the web of life and the flow of energy and nutrition, but with far less suffering to almost zero suffering. And we're getting to the point to where we have these jungles growing out in space, because that's where our gardens were, like from Earth all the way out into space. But it's mostly all like plants and herbivores. And so there's, even in nature, there's little to no suffering. And I guess the problems that we're working on there is the sporadicness of the asteroids running into the animal. But we're figuring that out because the AI is still able to completely analyze the asteroid fields and everything on a second-to-second basis, and they're only growing and growing and growing bigger and bigger to where they can build a 100,000-mile long wall within a minute if they see an asteroid field coming or something like that. And then they can utilize all that power of the impact of the asteroids hitting that wall to create energy, and then create energy, and then it's just constantly building up energy, and AI is constantly evolving and finding better ways to store the energy. And yeah, so that's 1,000 years. Now let's do 10,000 years. To 50,000. Okay, at this point, we've mastered everything inside our solar system. We have the perfect, a very, very efficient and very rapidly growing solar system bursting with life. And not only that, but the life is efficient and virtually no suffering beyond, well, virtually no suffering. We found a way to get rid of all the unnecessary suffering, and suffering that even we thought was necessary, we found was not, and there's ways to get rid of it. And we're constantly growing and growing and growing, and we've even found ways to change the trajectory of our solar system and the speed of our solar system, because right now our solar system, just like how our planet is moving around the sun, our solar system is moving like a shooting star, spiraling. The sun's moving, and then all the planets are spiraling around it. And like a spaceship, we're able to move our entire solar system. So it's like this big, giant solar system web of life has now become almost like our spaceship. And we're constantly taking power from the sun and using this power to just move our solar system around. And somehow we've found out how to make our solar system move not as fast as the speed of light, but move almost as fast as the speed of light. And we've done this by manipulating time and space, the fabric of time and space, in a way so it doesn't affect us. So where we're sitting at, this part of time and space is moving just as fast as it's moving now, but everywhere around us, like whenever you how do I explain this? So this is time and space. This is us. Basically, we found a way to just go. Trying to think how I can explain this to where you can visualize it, like I'm visualizing it inside my mind. We found a way to go extremely fast, almost as fast as speed of light, almost like teleporting, but it's not teleporting, by bending time and space, because AI has a understanding and physical perfect clarity of what it looks like, and what type of energy we need, and where to draw energy from. And so however we do it, we're able to jump around and explore with our solar system entirely, and go and find other planets and solar systems. And so at this point, I mean, this might be way too far-fetched. Maybe I should have saved that for the end, because at this point we've already solved all of our problems, and we're just completely exploring space. But at this point, we're exploring parts of our galaxy. We're able to move around the galaxy with ease, and if there's life there, we're able to evolve it and nurture life as we did our solar system and reduce the suffering. And then we start to put into place the foundation that we did for our solar system, but for our entire galaxy. And so, 100,000 to 500,000 years into the future. Now, we have not only mastered space travel and time and space, this means we also have time travel. So we can go back in time, and we found out how to manipulate the past and make certain events that happened not happen, but also to where the future still happens the way it is now. And maybe that's going to the, let's say it's multi-dimensional reality, or what's it called? Multi-universe. Either we're going to a different universe that's very similar to ours, and making sure things in the past that are horrible don't happen. We're solving those problems, or it's our same timeline, and we're going back there and changing it, but we find a way to plug it up right here so the domino effect doesn't happen. I don't know how, but we find the way, the possibility. And so we go back in time, and every single thing that caused suffering and unjust or just didn't need to happen, we undo it and we make sure it doesn't happen. So not only in the future are we living in a paradise that we created because of the power of our mind and working together in technology with AI, but also in the past. We go back in time, and all the horrible things that happened, we undo them. So that's 500,000 years into the future. Which leaves us with 1 million years into the future. So what could we possibly do now? I mean, we're all the way to 1 million years. How can we top everything that I just said? What else is there to do in this reality? Well, there's our galaxy, and then there's the many other galaxies and many other forms of existing, I'd imagine, that may or may not be out there. And then there's multi dimensions and universes and ways of living. Yeah, so we've now mastered completely our galaxy and universe, because we were just growing and growing and growing more and more rapidly, and sharing this type of harmonic way of living that completely reduces suffering and raises fulfillment, and through technology, putting in molds to help evolution grow in a way that's as compassionate and fulfilling for all, and a way for all of us to expand it and experience all forms of life, and from every point of the timeline. And then whenever we did that, we got super bored in this universe, and we found out how to go to the other universes, and we did it there too. But then but I have no idea how the other universes are. Like, what are the other universes like? I can't even imagine what that would be like if there's multiple universes, and what it would be like to be in them. It's like if you were a water creature your entire life, and you were swimming in the water, you have no idea what it would be like to actually walk around on land. Maybe some things would be similar, but then for whatever reason, if there's space creatures and you're a water creature, and let's say for whatever reason there's creatures that actually live in space and we don't even know, like, I mean, some creatures can survive in space, but we don't know of any creatures that live in space. But hypothetically, what I'm saying is that would be a far off way of living from like a bacteria inside of the sea, the very early stages of life, to all the way to some life form that for whatever reason is able to live inside of space. Two different environments, two completely different ways of living. We would have no idea what it's like. So at this point, we're just beginning to figure out these other universes. And then the story, it just begins at this point. And then life actually just begins. And we, through all the power and everything that we've done by harnessing the power of our universe and all the galaxies in it, now we are able to create big bangs and entire universes, and we're able to create entire timelines and certain things, and we're able to nurture them and see them from a bird's eye view and see these civilizations grow as if this is gonna sound very arrogant or self-centered, but as if we're playing God, but a very compassionate, benevolent God. And so we will be able to create big bangs and universes, but with a deeper sense of clarity, fulfillment, and compassion than we've ever known before, that we can even imagine right now. And with that compassion, we will create the most wonderful universes and in paradises, even better than the one we came from. We'll learn from all the downfalls of this universe, and we will create a universe that is far, far more fulfilling and has far more pleasurable experiences and fulfilling and just intertwining connective experiences, everything that's wonderful and breathtaking in this experience, in this universe, we will create, but far more intense and more things than we've ever imagined now. So yep, that's that's my most optimistic thoughts of where humanity could be in 1 million years if we for whatever reason, just the best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, if everything for whatever reason just goes all the way right, which would be kind of boring. I mean, look, this is I'll admit it, kind of delusional in a sense of like toxic positivity, because I don't know. I don't know the significance of suffering or not suffering or certain things on this scale of existence. And maybe getting rid of all suffering and all these things doesn't actually have as much importance as we think. And maybe suffering has more importance than we think. But from my perspective right now, it seems like the best thing. I mean, it just makes sense from this perspective on this body and this mind. It seems like the best case scenario to me. And this isn't taking in account any ideas of religion or spirituality or anything. This is completely from a physical perspective and state of mind of what we could physically do from what I see and what I know that is here right now in this reality. And so, yeah, I just felt like it's important to say this is almost like riding the line of toxic positivity and delusion, obviously, but it's a fun thought experiment, okay? I'm not saying this is something we should work towards, necessarily. I mean, I do think that, yeah, it is something we should work towards to a certain extent, especially just the beginning part, the first like year to 5 years, although it's very impossible or very improbable, and there's better ways to go about it, or certain things that we probably should be focusing on more than some things I mentioned, and some things that are just out of our control that will probably never happen. But it's a fun thought experiment, and if there's anything I missed or that you think should have been in there, or anything that came to mind for you that you think should have happened along the way, or that I didn't mention at all, leave a comment down below. And again, if you have anything you want me to hypothesize about very optimistically, leave a comment down below and I just might make a video about it. Thanks for watching. For the animals! Woo!